This video addresses the portion of the PowerPoint dealing with basic writing and specifically includes major portions of the type of paper you will be writing in this class. Even though much of nursing documentation is through a checklist or online documentation, there is much that is done through structured formal emails and policy papers and research documents, and effective professional writing is a critical skill in nursing. For writing to be effective, one must include clear theses and supportive statements with logical conclusions, and one must make a logical, well-organized, and persuasive presentation of the case or position. This video will deal only with components of the paper. A second video will address specific APA style and formatting issues. To set a context, there are several types or styles of writing. A descriptive genre is used when the goal is to describe an event or activity in vivid detail, such as in fiction or nonfiction. But a narrative style is designed to tell a story of an experience or event while drawing the reader into the experience, as in a biography. Technical writing is designed to communicate a select piece of information for a particular purpose, such as a how-to manual or a policy and procedure manual. Technical writing also includes the famous instructions on how to assemble a piece of furniture or how to program a new TV. But the goal of expository genre is to explain something to the audience that is not in technical terms. To a certain extent, your paper 1, explaining the major ideas in Galen's article, was an example of expository writing. Persuasive writing is to give an opinion to convince the reader that one's point of view is valid and to persuade the reader to take a specific action. Your paper 2 and paper 3 in this course will be this type of persuasive writing. An argumentative genre is not an argument in the usually understood sense, but is designed to convince the audience that the proposed claim about a topic is valid by offering specific evidence presented in a logical, sequential manner. Paper 4 will involve an argumentative style of writing. Your papers for this class will consist of 5 sections or parts: a title page, the introduction, the body of the paper, which may be from 3 to 5 pages, segmented by APA style headers. The paper will also contain a conclusion in which the major arguments are summarized, and the paper will contain a reference page in which all articles referred to in text will be listed. The introduction of the paper sets the stage and gives direction for the focus of the paper. Now, I know that you have written papers before. Many papers in many different classes with many different styles. For this course, as a writing flag course, this is what we will expect in terms of the introduction. The introduction may be 1 or 2 paragraphs, but will always contain 2 distinctive types of sentences: a thematic sentence and a thesis sentence. or sentences. The thematic sentence is the first sentence of the paper. The thematic sentence or sentences identifies the theme or topic or subject of the paper. This thematic statement is a broad or general statement of what the paper is about. The thematic statement you see listed indicates the paper will include a discussion about access to health care, and that access may be different for different groups of people, and that different levels of access may affect their individual health and well-being. So the thematic statement is an overarching statement about the major foci or themes in the paper. A thematic statement, or it can be one or two sentences, identifies the general topic parameters. You see two thematic statements listed on the slide. End-of-life considerations, one aspect or theme. Viewed differently by families, a different component of the paper. And age of the family member may be a consideration. So the reader knows that there will be three interwoven aspects addressed in the paper. The second thematic statement indicates the paper is about the issue of abortion, that the issue is controversial, and that it is considered controversial because groups with differing political and religious beliefs understand the issue differently. Again, three major themes or components that will be addressed in the paper are identified in the thematic statement. So the thematic statement begins the paper and gives the reader the overall focus or theme of the paper. But the introduction also includes a thesis statement. The thesis statement is a specific statement of one's position or approach. It contains an articulation of that position or opinion, and also includes a blueprint of reasons to support that opinion. These reasons or justifications of support are based on the assigned readings for class. The thesis statement is generally the final sentence in the first paragraph or introductory section. The thesis statement is very specific and informs the reader exactly what the author will do or show or argue for in the paper. It is in essence a map, so the reader will know what to expect. Here you see two well-articulated thesis statements, and they are well articulated because the statements identify exactly what will be addressed or argued in the paper. The first thesis statement, I will argue in this paper that. The second thesis statement, based on a utilitarian perspective, the FDA officials in the case interacted in an unethical manner. And then the specifics of how, or justification for how that was considered to be unethical. This thesis statement is effective because it identifies the thesis or position and the basis for that position. A utilitarian perspective is the best ethical principle to employ because it In like manner, this thesis statement is effective because it clearly presents what is to be argued and the basis of support of that argument. Although the question can be examined from a variety of perspectives, the principle of autonomy best supports legalization. That's the major thesis that will be argued in the paper. These two statements are not effective thesis statements because they do not articulate a definitive position or plan for the paper or offer support for the major thesis or arguments. In summary, the thesis statement or statements are very specific and inform the reader exactly what one will prove or argue for in the paper, and it is a map so the reader knows what to expect. The thesis statements are generally the final sentences in the introduction section. The entire introduction section may be from 4 to 8 or 9 sentences, but will always include a thematic statement, a broad or general topic opening sentence. Then there will be 2 or 3 more sentences that narrow or focus the paragraph. Then the thesis statement is the most specific and is the final sentences in the introduction. The body of the paper provides the basis for the opinion or position that was articulated in the introduction. The body of the paper provides the argumentative support or background for the author's position. That support will come from class readings, and we will talk much more about the content or body of the paper as we deal with each paper 2, paper 3, and paper 4. The conclusion is not merely a recap, but includes a review of the thesis statement and offers some suggestions for the next step to extend discussion of the issue. This concludes comments about writing styles and the components of the paper. A separate YouTube video will address specific APA formatting.